What's up guys, it's Eric from Racing Cockpits, and today we're going to be showing you how to mount up seat sliders to a racing seat. Because we've got this beautiful McLaren loaded up here on this simulator, but we don't have a seat. So we need to get this thing ready to go so we can race. Let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is lay down the bag that the racing seat came in, or something soft so that you don't mess it up. And you're going to actually flip it upside down. And this way we can access the mounting points on the racing seat. Okay, so at this point you might be wondering what the heck all this stuff is. So these are the seat sliders, and this is the lever that you're going to use to actually control the seat sliders. Okay, so now you're going to take the seat slider. You're going to get the one that has the metal on the right hand side facing up when you hold it like this, and you're going to be able to press this down with your thumb to release the latch to be able to move it up and down. And we're going to move it down. Okay, so I'm going to push it with my thumb and move it down to expose the 3 circular holes. Okay, now we're going to flip it over and we're going to line up the second hole with the second slot. We're going to take one of the bolts, place it through the second hole and the second gap in the bracket here. Line it up just like that. Put the nut on the back. Make sure it's centered, and then go ahead and tighten it down. Now you might be wondering why I'm doing the bottom first instead of the top. It's because the top are slots, and so it's much harder to align if you do the top first. So that's why we're doing the bottom first. Alright, now this trick is going to save you a ton of time. After we just put this bolt in, we're actually going to take a 12mm bolt and a T-nut, a spring ball T-nut, and we're going to actually prep for mounting this to the extrusion in a minute. So we're just going to put this bolt through and put the T-nut on there. And now we're going to do the exact same sequence, but on the other side. So we're going to push with our thumb to open this latch and slide the slider down. Now we're going to take the bolt and in the second or third, it looks like it's the third slot down, we're going to put the bolt through. Put the nut on the back. And again, we're going to make sure this is centered and go ahead and tighten it down. Now to repeat what we did on the other side, we're going to take the 12mm bolt and the T-nut, and we're going to slide that through, screw the T-nut on, and now this side is done. Important things to note: you want to make sure that the flat side of the seat slider is facing the seat bracket, that the silver is pointing in, and that the part that you press on, this silver tab right here, is facing the front of the seat, which, because the seat is upside down, is down this way, is forward. Now we're going to repeat this sequence on the other side. Alright, now we're going to do the second one. So I'm going to hold this so that this tab is facing my right hand again, so that I can push down. I'm right-handed, so my thumb is stronger on this side to be able to push this down. So this time we're actually going to slide it up to expose those 3 holes. So I'm going to go ahead and push and slide up, and then now you can see those 3 holes again. And so again, we're going to line the second hole. There's 1, 2, 3, the middle second hole, up with the second slot here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the bolt through the second hole, through the second slot, and then put the nut on the back. Okay, now we're going to make sure that this is centered, and then go ahead and tighten it down. And you can go ahead and tighten it down really good, because you're going to be pushing hard on your brake pedal, and so you want these to be really snug. Okay, now I'm going to again push down on this tab to release. Oh wait, can't forget this. We've got to get ready to mount the extrusion by putting the 12mm bolt and the T-nut on there. Okay, now I'm going to press this tab, slide it down, and again we're going to mount using the 16mm bolt in the second slot. Put the nut on the back, Go ahead and tighten it down. Now, of course, we need to go ahead and get this one ready for the extrusion as well. So we'll put this 12mm bolt through and then put the T-nut on. All right, now we're going to do the seat position lever. You want to make sure that the part that's arcing up is going towards the seat. This is a little bit tricky because you have to compress this. So the way that we're going to make that easier is actually by loosening this side seat bracket so that we got some extra play in there, okay? So these holes right here match up with these silver pins. So we're going to start with the right side, align it with the pins and put it on. And now this step, because you're compressing this, is pretty tricky and you want to make sure not to pinch yourself, okay? So we're going to use the Allen wrench to help us, and we're going to get it lined up and then use the Allen wrench as a lever to pop it on there, okay? So I'm going to push it out, and again, be careful not to get pinched here. I'm going to feed my Allen wrench in here, and I'm making sure the pins are aligned with the holes, and then I'm very slowly levering it over until it goes into the holes, just like that. So it's really not that bad if you just take your time to do it really slowly and you loosen this side to begin with. Now we just need to remember to tighten this side back up. All right, so now we're going to put the extrusion rails on, okay? So how we do that is we go ahead and push to open the seat slider lever, and then we're going to slide this up so that we can access this screw to be able to tighten it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay? Now, it's remarkably easy because we did this prep work of having those in there. We're just going to slide the T-nuts into the slot and then tighten it. And if you push it out, that helps be able to guide it into the channel, just like that. Okay, so we're going to go till it's about in the middle, from one part of the slider to the other part of the sliding part of the slider is going to be centered on the extrusion. And once it is, we're going to tighten this screw, make it nice and snug, because you're going to be pushing up against this when you push on the brake pedal. You're going to be adding a lot of torque to this. Okay, so that one's done. We'll do the other side. So again, I'm just holding this out so it's easy for it to slide into the channel. Do the same thing down here. And then slide it till it's in the center of the moving part of the seat slider. So you kind of got to look from the side to figure that out. And then I'm going to tighten it. Okay. Now we're going to move this down to be able to tighten the other screw. Now we just repeat. Go ahead and tighten the screw. Let's see, if I do a little more, that makes it easier. Okay, so on the other side, yeah, I'm going to do a little more. Just give myself a little more room to work with. All right, so now we're just going to slide the seat sliders all the way up and then move it down until it clicks. Same thing on the other side. And now we're going to put on the 2-hole slotted bracket, corner brackets. And you might be wondering why there's a slot. It's actually to allow you to adjust the seating angle. If you have one of our formula style rigs, you can change the angle and the slot allows that to happen. So we're just going to slide this in here. 1 and 2 on each side. And then we're just going to loosely tighten these so they stay in place. The back ones stay pretty much lined up with the back. front ones, it's going to depend on where your mid-rail ended up. So we're just going to kind of loosely tighten them so that we'll be able to slide them around, but they'll be in the right orientation once we set it on the rig. All right, there you go. Now we're ready to put this on the rig. Sweet. All right, so I went ahead and put the end caps on, and now I'm just going to keep the positioning where it is, where these are out, which will allow us better access when we're mounting it on the back. And I'm just going to lift it up and put it on the rig. Okay, now as I put it on the rig, I'm going to check that the spacing on the back and the front is the same, but you might notice some toe angle. That's completely normal. It has to do with the way the seat is molded. Sometimes there's a little bit of toe in or toe out angle on the actual extrusions, but because you can move laterally whichever way you need in the channel, the most important thing is making sure at the front and the back that the spacing is the same, and that means the seat is straight. All right, so now let's go ahead and bolt it in place. Because I left these a little bit loose, I can move them around as needed and slide the T-nuts into place using 16mm bolts. Can lock it into place. Okay, now that the back is done, I'm going to scoot the seat all the way back so that I can tighten the bolts in the front. So one thing to mention is when you scoot the seat back, to actually sit in it and scoot back using your weight to keep it even so it doesn't go side to side. But even if it does, you can just adjust as you're attaching the front. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, now we've got all the brackets attached, so the seat is completely firm. You can remove this plastic. I'm not going to remove this right now because we're going to be moving this tomorrow for a photo shoot. But yeah, you can remove this plastic and you are ready to race. Speaking of which, let's hop in. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and all the things. And we'll see you out there on the track. Check us out, racingcockpits.com. Thanks.